Hi, and welcome to the Surf Academy UK podcast. I'm your host, Ross James. This podcast is to help surfers of all levels up their game through coaching and training. All our guests have extensive experience in the industry and can offer great advice and guidance. So whether you're a beginner, weekend warrior, or just love to be in the water, follow us on this journey and don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay stoked and stay healthy. Hi and welcome to the Surf Academy UK podcast. I'm Ross and today we're joined by Dean Griffiths, surfer out of Bournemouth, and I will let him introduce himself. How you doing, Dean?
I'm good, Ross. Yes, my name's Dean Griffiths. I'm 50 years old, surfer from Bournemouth, been surfing over 32 years now, and I help coach with our fantastic England adaptive surf team.
Amazing. And obviously the South Coast isn't always pumping, is it? There's some serious flat spots to be had. What do you do outside of surfing?
Yeah, so outside of surfing, I like to keep myself fit, doing a bit of martial arts training and doing a bit of skating as well as doing gym work and stuff like that, just to keep everything flowing and flexible and strong and ready for the next swell.
Amazing. And so what sort of martial arts do you do? Is it one in particular, or do you have a bit of a blend?
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a blend of a lot of martial arts. I started off in Taekwondo and Judo as a child. Got various belts in different styles. Moved into Thai boxing and Jeet Kune Do and Kali Eskrima. And yeah, I've been doing martial arts, what, about 43 years, I guess now. So I'm pretty good at it, I guess. A lot of people training with me. I've run different clubs over the years, and I'll be starting up a class again this year because a lot of people are sort of putting me under pressure to get back into teaching again. But yes, obviously, I don't want to give them too much of my time doing that because I'm really into coaching our adaptive surfers and helping them to just do well in the competitions and get out in the water and have fun. And that's kind of my main thing now that I've kind of fallen in love with is helping those guys and girls.
Amazing. And how long have you been doing that now?
I've been involved with them for 4 years now. So I've been lucky enough to be at 3 World Championship events with the team. But yes, I got involved with it because of my best friend, Mark Hagger, got multiple sclerosis about 10 years ago. And it kind of took his legs away from working very well. And, he wasn't able to get in the surf as such as he used to. And yeah, thanks to Andy Joyce, who got him back in the water and took him up to the northeast coast, gave Mark a taster for the adaptive surf scene. And since then, he's never looked back, really. He's British champion a few times over. He's does very well. I think last time he came 7th in the world, which is pretty good for a guy from the south coast of England competing against Hawaiians and Australians and Californians. When, as you know, we're not known for our waves here.
No.
So yeah, he's done very well, and hopefully this year we're looking to do even better and improve on that.
Amazing. I mean, it's certainly come a long way in terms of the equipment. And I mean, I saw the comp up at APS or Surf Snowdonia back in 22. And I mean, that was the first time for me I'd really seen up close the sort of the level that was there, and it was incredible. Just to see how they sort of overcome, and I can't remember his name. I want to say is a Brazilian chap. He was a leg amputee, and man, like absolutely ripped. Like I'm still trying to get to that level of surfing. I was like, you couldn't tell. Like if you're looking for an audition, you're like, oh yes, yeah,
No,
like I was like, you were blowing people out of the water. Like, I would not want to go against you, um, even as I am now. But so yeah, it's really impressive to see how far they've come. And I mean, you've also got Zoe on your books, as it were, haven't you? Zoe Smith.
Yeah, so I've done a bit of work with Zoe over the last couple of years, and she's just phenomenal, and it's just gone from strength to strength. Now really coming back with the world championship under her belt. But yeah, she's just gaining momentum each year and getting stronger and stronger. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that, it'll only be a matter of years before she's doing even bigger maneuvers. We might even see some aerials from her one day. But now she's talking about hunting tubes this year, so that's going to be interesting. Seeing
Amazing.
how she gets on with her barrel riding, taking it to the next level.
Yeah, that's can you, because like, even just for my benefit, explain, because obviously it's not like judging a normal competition, as it were, is it? Like, because you've got sort of different divisions within the parasurfing, can you explain the difference between, say, a prone surfer like Mark and then, say, Zoe's category as well?
Yeah, certainly. So Mark, because he hasn't got much use of his legs at all, bless him, he rides a prone board. So he's in prone to assist. So basically, he requires a pusher and catcher. So one of us will swim him out into the waves, take him out back. Mark will select the wave that he wants to go for, and then the pusher will basically shove him into that wave. And then Mark will use the handles on his board, the little grips, to engage his rail to get him moving up and down the wave, to do his cutbacks and his top turns and everything. And then it's my job normally to basically get to him when he wipes out, or if he rides the wave all the way in, get him back on his board, spin him around, and then get him back out to the pusher. Whereas Zoe, being a leg amputee, I mean, she does it all herself. So she's just out there on her own, just going for it herself against the other girls in her category.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. It's I actually saw the video you popped up earlier of Mark. Was it Huntington, where he sort of shoots the piers and goes between the pylons? It's it was
Yeah,
quite funny listening to the commentators go. Now he's got two options here. He's going to sort of straight line it and go with a white water to the beach, or oh no, he's going through the pylons, and yep, he goes round, comes around the outside to score. I think it's like an extra 3 points or something, wasn't it? I think I heard.
yeah. They gave him an extra few points with the danger.
Nice.
Yeah, here it was a bit of a dangerous thing to do. I'm not too sure the the people who organised it, the ISA, were too happy about him actually going to shoot the pier. Everyone was a little bit worried, and that's hence why he got the nickname Mad Dog after doing that. But yeah, it was great. Really good to
Amazing.
see. He kind of just brought that more extreme part to that day of the event. It was really good to see.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Great entertainment. And I bet he's frothing over that one as well. Like, anyone that's ever been able to shoot a pier on a wave is it certainly goes down as one of the more memorable surfs, that's for sure. So
Yeah, it wasn't
what
even a regular pier shoot. It was the
no.
control he did to actually under the pier, weave around the pylons, and then come back through. It was fantastic control he showed on that wave.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's super impressive. Um, I'm curious to know, what sort of training do you do? So obviously with Mark, in one respect, it's not going to be your standard session, but would you take, this is just from complete sort of zero experience and maybe slight naivety from a PT point of view, but how would you train Mark, for example, other than sort of getting in paddle practices and so on and upper body weights? What would you do to keep, like, the what am I looking for, the muscle dystrophy for the legs?
Yeah. Well, obviously we want to stop the atrophy happening in his muscles. So once or twice a week I'll be going round to his house and doing a bit of personal training with him. We'll use the resistance bands, the dyna bands on his arms, shoulders. I'll be behind him so he can work basically his chest press. Go in front of him so he can work basically like his lat row, getting all of that working. And it's a lot of core work for him because, as we know, surfing does require a lot of core work, whether you're lying on a bodyboard prone or stood up, or knee boarding. It's all a lot of core work to engage the rails without you wiping out on your board. So, yeah, we do a lot of core work with him, a lot of floor-based exercises mainly, because he is down low on the wave most of the time. It's pretty good, and I like to rip him out with a bit of fitness on the old boxing pads as well, just to make sure his arms and shoulders are firing nice and fast. So I guess that kind of helps with my boxing background, that I can kind of get him working that as well.
Brilliant, yeah. And I mean that sounds pretty good going. There's a lot sort of covering in terms of strength, a little bit ballistic power as well. Um, what so how would Zoe's session differ to Mark's, for example? What do you do for Zoe's sort of training?
Zoe's training is a lot different because a lot of it was we can do water based training with her. Even when it's flat, we can get out and do a lot of paddling. If it's completely flat, calm, and nothing happening, she does like surf skating. And as we know, surf skates are a fantastic tool for land based training to kind of get those body mechanics down, for your surfing maneuvers. And yeah, she's getting more into building the muscle and making it stronger. So we've got some dumbbells that she's now kind of working with, and she's showing a bit of interest in doing a little bit of boxing and martial arts. So we're looking at getting her involved in that a bit more, which is going to help her single leg strength,
Yeah.
on the one side, as well as getting her glutes fired up and working a bit more as well, because she's had a lot of atrophy there from losing her leg.
Okay, so that sort of interests me, and I've not ever had the privilege to work with anyone that's gone through that sort of thing. And so to help get my head round, I suppose there's a lot of work to sort of balance out the body because obviously maybe the leg that's had the amputation, you're not going to get the same movements, are you? So obviously,
No, not at all.
I suppose that's where the glute issues come in. You're not activating it as much, so you've got to really focus on keeping them balanced. And I mean, surfing's a nightmare for imbalances anyway. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you do to help build that up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with my personal training background, as a fitness instructor years ago, I kind of had we're taught how to build muscle and everything for regular symmetrical people. But I was lucky enough to work with a lot of GP referral cases back then as well. So I had people coming in who had come out of car accidents, had strokes, heart attacks, and things like that. So I guess I was kind of primed back
Mm,
then for what was in the future with me coaching these phenomenal athletes. It's
yeah.
it's really good, but it does pick my brain a bit on thinking about how we can work this area, because obviously it's completely different for them as it would be for you and I.
Yeah, I suppose, and work obviously for anyone that doesn't really train, especially when you get to sort of sports, you kind of want to start at that hip core area and start working your way out really, because everything stems from your hips, really, doesn't it? Any sort of movement, even getting up off the couch, let alone trying to do some some big bottom turns and everything else. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I suppose having the fact that you may not be able to do an orthodox exercise, you're going to have to start manipulating that around a little bit. How have you found, slightly moving across now, how have you found your martial arts background? Has there been much crossover for the surfing? Like, has there been any benefits at all?
I mean, for me personally, it's been great. It's kept me more flexible over the years and helped with my surfing. Um, with regards to marking his upper body, which he's still pretty strong with, it's helped with his explosiveness. And like I said, we're looking at doing a lot more with Zoe this year, with getting her leg working as well, and we're going to see how that translates to her surfing. It should help power up her turns. That's what we're looking forward to doing and getting involved with a lot more. And it's just going to be, obviously, I'm not going to be getting her doing like jump kicks like Bruce Lee did or anything like that. But we'll be doing like resistance kick work and resistance knee lifts and things like that, to try and build up this area
Yeah,
and get it much stronger so that she's got much more control through her turns and a lot more power. That's what we're looking for anyway. Increase in strength and power always helps with the surfing, as you know.
that's it. And it'd be interesting to get your take on this. And as you know, I do a lot of posts on social media on a weekly basis, trying to help people utilize land-based training, whatever that might be, gym, surf skates, whatever. And just so that for those, especially if they live inland or if the few that are worse than us, more towards the southeast coast, they get even less swell. Um, you've got to keep on top of it. Now, one thing that I found when I was learning to surf back in the days of Southbourne and before it was dredged, there was a lot out there on doing 300 reps on a resistance band on a Swiss ball. Um, and then, to be honest, there wasn't that much else at that time. Surfing has evolved from more of a lifestyle choice and a little bit um, anti-establishment type, um, and is now starting to shift towards oh, it's 3 to 4 foot and clean at Bournemouth Pier or Fistrals going off, and everyone can get out. Every man, dog,
Mm.
child, whatever is out there surfing, and so you need to have the right training to actually just give you that edge on a Saturday morning if you want to catch more waves. You need to have that thing. What would you say, in your opinion, to focus on? See, I'll tell people, yes, do a load of reps with the resistance band. However, that is not the be all end all. And are you going to be paddling to the Isle of Wight? If you're not, you don't need to be doing 100 reps at a time. Can you help sort of explain where sort of like strength endurance and that would come in, for example, in sets and reps in order to help you surfing?
Yeah, I mean the strength and endurance thing is obviously important for the paddle out as well as for actually surfing the wave itself. Definitely, I would say. Um, but yeah, getting the reps in is important. But also, if you can get them in the pool and get them swimming, it's really going to help with their breathing, with their lungs, with their breath control, and also getting the shoulders working to get them paddling. Although you're at a lower level when you're swimming than when you're surfing, it's a slightly different muscle group that you're kind of hitting when we're surfing because we're a little bit higher up in the water. But getting in the pool and doing a few lengths of the old front crawl is just going to help you, so much with that paddling and getting around. And obviously, on a busy day at Bournemouth Pier, when you got people paddling around you trying to snake you and stuff, the person who's putting in the work doing the swimming on the flat days is normally going to be one of the stronger ones catching most of the waves out there.
Exactly. That's just reminded me there was a session down at, I can't remember if it's Boscombe or Bournemouth, one of them, and we brought this guy down with us. He might be watching this, I don't know, but it was Simon. And although he's still very much a beginner surfer and was still at the time figuring out how to get to his feet, he'd actually competed in swimming when he was younger, and still, I believe, I mean, this 15, 20 years back, he still swam quite well, and on a semi-regular basis. And I don't know, do you
Yeah.
remember the old swimming action men? Like you just press the thing on the back and the arms and just go bang, bang, bang. That was him. Like he still needed to figure out what to do on a wave, but damn, if he was going to catch a wave, like he was going to catch it. Like you're like, oh, I'm just going to let him go. Like you get away with sort of having a friendly drop in and be like, right, I know he's probably going to go straight, but yeah, I'm going to sit about 10 feet further down, catch a wave and surf, and he's still going to be paddling. Absolute machine. But yeah, and that's sort of what the message I've been trying to convey is just get a couple of sessions in a week. If you can do a little gym session or a home-based workout, maybe take a martial arts class or get in the pool. It's not even just for surfing, is it? It's just going to help in life in general. I mean, I've been fortunate enough. I've surfed since 2003, swam since I was a kid, so probably about 92, 91, 92. I've been swimming, and then PT background as
Excellent.
well. Yeah, it all helps. But it will also allow me to just surf for longer in life rather than just in a session as well. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing in terms of, oh yeah, but I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to get massive. It's like, well, first off, calories, you're probably not going to consume amount if you're doing the right training. Um, yeah, don't worry about it. It's probably not an issue. So just getting that right sort of program involved. Going
Yeah,
back to the parasurf,
definitely.
how do you see that going in the next few years? Obviously, I'd say probably what the last 5 years, it's really it got its heels in and started sort of driving a bit more. There's a lot more people behind it. It's got a bigger name. Like it's really starting to show up on a regular basis. Whereas before, there wasn't really a massive scene, especially in the UK. It's quite underground. Whereas now, obviously, they have semi-regular events at the wave pools. It's all being televised at Pismo and Huntington. Where, from what you've seen so far, do you see a big thing for it over the next 3 or 4 years, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's just going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger and more popular globally, and the people that actually come down to these events and actually watch it, they're just blown away by how good these surfers actually are. Because most people have this misconception that is, it's just people getting pushed into waves and they're straight handling it to the beach, and it's far from that now.
Mm.
We've seen we've seen people doing aerials out there and all sorts now, and these these are adaptive surfers. They're people that you wouldn't think, wow, this guy's going to do a big tail slide or something like that, and suddenly they're ripping it out the bag, and there's top to bottom maneuvers going on. It's just stuff that you just wouldn't think is physically possible, but they're literally just raising the bar each time, and the standard is getting so high now. But I think from the public's point of view, it's just becoming more and more entertaining to watch now because of that level is getting up so high.
Mm.
It's really impressive to see.
I suppose, like your sort of regular able-bodied surfers as well, um, having places like the Wave, Lost Shore, and the sort of your inland surfing options is just
Mm.
gold dust to just get in there, and not even just for the surfers themselves, for the pushers, catchers, everybody around, just being able to go, okay, how do we do this? How do we do that? I mean, surfboard designs come on masses over the years, and as someone that's sort of firsthand dealt with a lot of boards, working in the retail sector, you've seen and probably ridden, from what I can tell, a massive array of shapes and designs. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to correlate with the adaptive boards as well. I mean, obviously, Bethany Hamilton would have been one of the first with having a rope handle. And to see
Yeah.
how like the prone boards have come now with your sort of little chest riser and everything, it'd be, yeah, quite exciting to see what sort of direction they take with some of them.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see like all the shapers now and speaking to them and seeing what they're coming up with for the competitors. There's, in the old days it was basically just the old floaty board, which is essentially like a pop out with a couple of handles on it and a chest plate. Whereas now they're realizing actually these guys need proper rails. They need that rocker if they're going into a steeper wave. They need that tail kind of refined, pulled in, so they can help engage that rail initially off their bottom turn. There's so much more to it. When we were in California most recently, it was interesting to see Duke Kuiper, the famous Duke Kuiper shaper, come on over, and he came round our house to see me and Mark, and he was very interested looking at Mark's boards and seeing how JP had made Mark's boards, and Duke was kind of like, hey, I can see how that would work for you, and he had a few ideas himself. So it's going to be, it's just going to keep going up and up and up, and it's, seeing what the pro shapers are going to be making for these guys. I think it's really going to help take them even further to the next level again. It's just going to keep on improving all the time. It's
Oh,
great.
100%. Yeah. It'd be great to see Mark and a newer version of the Sting. I'm pretty sure Matty Hammersley will be pretty stoked on that one as well. I think that's his favorite board. Um, I've actually got to break the news to him. I've done a episode with him a few days ago, and unfortunately, my laptop sucks, and it's wiped out the entire recording. But so we got to do that one again.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry, Matty. You got to
Yeah.
spend another hour with me, mate. But yeah, so okay, so what's in the pipeline for 2025?
Hopefully global domination for the England. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. We want them to keep excelling, keep enjoying what they're doing. That's the main thing, is that they're going to enjoy it and have fun. That's why we surf. It's that feeling. It just makes us smile. It makes us happy. But yeah, we just want to see them keep progressing, keep excelling at what they're doing, and mainly just enjoying it and having fun. The surf community it's such a wonderful thing in this scene. I think it's a lot more special than what I've seen with the regular surfers. And that's kind of what stole my heart and why I'm so passionate about it.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I think if you've undergone something or your life changed that dramatically, it's going to have such a mental effect on you, and just sort of getting your head around it, accepting that this has happened. I've got two options. I can let it get to me, or I can keep going and make something of this. And then to
Mm.
suddenly dominate in a sport and go, how did this happen? I suppose in some ways it's kind of surreal, but at the same time, the amount of work and effort that has gone into that, it's no wonder. They,
Yeah, yeah, they are so committed. I mean, I've never met an athlete like Zoe Smith, an able-bodied athlete, that committed. I mean, I've worked with a lot of fighters over the years, and they'd be training, 7 days a week, but the commitment and the mindset of Zoe is, again, it's another level. If able-bodied people had that level of commitment, I mean, there'd be a lot of champions. You know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's incredible. And I mean, I've had a few things go on over the years, and it's amazing. I think what they say about you've got to not necessarily rock bottom, but you've got to have something that really, really does suck happen to you to really genuinely appreciate a lot more and to give you that sort of resilience to go, well, that's it, who's here? Like, there's a few really nice people, some really good family to go, oh, yeah, you can do it, mate, you can do it. But at the end of the day, it's only you that can do it. And
Yeah.
once you've accepted that really frustrating fact, that's when you can go, okay, I'm I'm here now. What's it going to take? And breaking it all down to bite-sized chunks and just going, right, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, whatever it takes, and just keep plugging away until you get to that point. And then annoyingly, and it's funny, I've watched a lot of videos recently on guys like Richard Branson and so forth, that you always have that thing when you're younger, don't you, where you're like, oh yeah, I'll get to this point and then I'm good. And then you watch guys like Richard Branson that's made stupid amounts of money and gone, why is that guy not sitting back, chilling and enjoying it? And it's until you started a journey like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not Richard Branson. I don't ever hope be anywhere near as rich as that. But until you've got something in your mind, you've got that focus, you'll get there and go, well, now what? There isn't a fireworks display. You might get a quick pat on the back. Go, oh yeah, nice one, mate. And then that's it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's a good question. Now what? Because I'm bored. I need something to do. You can appreciate it probably for a little while. You might make a load of money and travel, surf Indo, Hawaii, go off, do all these travels. And then you go, well, I can't keep doing this. It's a little bit samey. Like, how much nasi goreng am I going to eat on my own because I can't, no one's coming with me. So, and that might be winning a championship, getting to a grading belt in whichever martial arts you're taking. There's always that next bit. You think, yeah, black belt. And then you're like, oh, second down, third down, fourth down. And you're like, I may as well keep going because there's always going to be that person a little ahead of you that instead of going, oh, screw that guy, use them, utilize them, and go, yeah, give me more because I'm going to overtake you and then I'm going to help you and blah, blah, blah. So, bit of a tangent there. But so going back to sort of the fitness side of things, other than the pool and sort of regular training, is there any sort of advice that maybe something you found over the years that's really worked for you that might be part of your staple training that you'd advise other surfers to take on?
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of us surfers, especially as we're getting older, the main thing is your hips and your lower back. I mean, I had problems with my lower back. I prolapsed 3 discs a few years ago and thought I wasn't going to surf again. At one point, I thought I wasn't going to be walking very well again. But you know, through doing lots of work, no operations, none of that, but just doing lots of training, lots of hip flexibility, also hip strengthening movements. There's lots of guys doing videos on that now on surfing about the hip flexibility and how to build up your strength in that area. And I think that's really crucial if you want to carry on surfing for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. And again, a lot of people have got this sort of misconception of what strength training actually means. And it can be what you want it to be, sort of thing, can't it?
Yeah,
And I think a lot of, so especially a male thing, probably just because of testosterone and bravado, but they're like, oh yeah, if I go to the gym, I have to do 3 sets of 10 on everything. And then I've got to throw in a couple of drop sets and, oh, let's throw in some 21s on the guns. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, you are going to smash a load of food because you're a young dude. And then you are going to put on a bit of size.
mm.
And that is going to interfere with your surfing, your mobility. Whereas if you have the right sort of training program, I mean, we won't go too much into hypertrophy and blah, 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 but having the right rep ranges, calorie intake, and just keeping mobile is the key. Like you say, hip flexibility, mobility is the one. I mean, I've mentioned it a couple of times in these episodes. Flexibility is great, but mobility is better. And I've said to
Yes.
people, like, flexibility is getting into a full squat. Mobility is having strength to get out of that and move within that squat. So knowing the difference is absolutely key. What would just, I'll wrap this, start tying this down now, but obviously you've given a great piece of advice there with the hip mobility and strength. Would you say, what's been your favorite moment in surfing for you, like in general, whether that's working with the guys or something, a personal achievement?
For me, I guess it's just working with Mark and Zoe, seeing them just excel, and progressing each time they get in, watching them just get better and better, stronger and stronger. That for me is the best thing. It's better than any Bali trip that I've done in the past or trips to Australia. That for me has been far more fulfilling to see, really.
Yeah, amazing. What when's the next trip with the guys this year?
We're waiting for the dates of the comps, and that's when we'll get things going again. I mean, I'll be training Mark tomorrow night, so he's already ready to go, shall we say, and put in the training, get started. So he's currently in Sri Lanka. She's been surfing every day. She's out there on holiday with her mum. But her mum's been cool about her surfing every day. They're still doing a bit of temples and stuff like that, and seeing the sights. So when she gets back here, she'll be hungry just to carry on surfing, carry on training, and get progressing and ready for the first comp. I think there's one coming up at the end of March in Europe. So hopefully they'll be doing that, and then we'll have the English Championships as well as the European Championships, and providing that they do well, which I'm sure they will, then they'll be going to the Worlds again.
Amazing. Well, slightly envious of Zoe, but at the same time, it's going to be a very a cold shock to the system when she does get back. Yeah, the only downside to going to warm waters in the winter, isn't it, is getting that 5 or 6 mil back on when you get home and going, right, just get it done. Cool. Well, look, Dean, it's been amazing, and I am back up in Hampshire now, so as soon as time, swell, and planets align, I'll be back down and surfing with the masses down around Bournemouth. So we'll have to have a catch up.
Oh, definitely. Be good to see you out there and get a few waves with you, buddy, and have a proper catch up with you. Definitely.
Sound good. Well, look, cheers for coming on, Dean, and good luck with the training. Look forward to seeing what you guys are up to on socials, and yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Ross. It's been a pleasure.
Hi, I really hope you enjoyed that podcast. If you're interested in anything the guest has to say today, then please have a look in the description for their links. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode.